Well, racing fans, welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Thursday, the 30th of March, where we are racing at the Vaal. And it's a busy day because there's 10 races carded. And the first race takes place at 12 o'clock. It's a work riders maiden plate over 1,000 meters. And Alistair Cohen is joining us for the preview. Of course, it's a build-up now for the weekend's racing, which is Derby Day, which is always, one of those race meetings, especially for the 3-year-olds, a race meeting to look forward to.
Yeah, Dees, hello to you and hello to all the viewers. I trust everybody is good. Just a few days out from Derby and Oaks Day, and also the Harry Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut Stakes. Looking forward to calling on Saturday as well. That'll be good fun. My first day back in the commentary box in South Africa. Sadly, there's no chance of any Volkswagen Triple Tiara winner or World Sports Betting Triple Crown winner, but all the same, it'll be a great race meeting. It always is. I do question the depth of the 3-year-old form, especially on the half belt. I thought it was a very, very good crop. I think our best horse doesn't get past a mile. So it'll be interesting to see the horse Chestnut, especially how those 2 3-year-olds shape up against those grizzled veterans, that some of which have won Group 1 races. But it's always a lovely meeting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, let's get straight into it, Alistair. Race number 1 wouldn't form part of the exotics. I mentioned it's a busy day at the Vaal, 10 races carded, but I'll give you the betting, the horses that are in single figures. Number 1 at 7-2, number 5 at 8-10, and then we got horse number 9 at 8-1. This horse, 8-10, pour some sugar on me, looks like the right horse in the race. Is there any serious competition on what she's shown in black and white, especially her last 3 starts?
I think number 5, Pour Some Sugar on Me, is the one that all need to beat. The horse that I am going to include as my swinger trifecta lurker is number 6, Count Your Chances. Barney Broncos now takes over. He got Future Wolf into the winner's enclosure over the weekend in his first runner for Mr. Jock Wolf. So maybe number 6, Count Your Chances, can improve a little bit more and get into the top 3. I'm going to hedge my bets on number 6, Count Your Chances, being the money maker, but I will be surprised if number 5, Pour Some Sugar on Me, gets beat. If she gets beat, it's not because someone beats her, it's because she beats herself.
Okay, we move along to race number 2, which will start off the exotics. It will be the start of the Parpot. It's over 1,200 meters. It's a juvenile plate, and lots of horses that are first-timers there, so one is to just keep an eye on the betting and maybe the comments that will come from the presenters on course. I'll give you the betting at the time of recording, single figures. Number 5 is at 5-1. Number 6 being backed from 22-10 into 18-10. 7 at 7-2. And then it is double figures, the balance. Now, there's a big discrepancy in the odds. And I say big because one's at 18-10 and the other is at 5-1. I understand that Hawkbill, number 5, did drift out to a starting price of 25-1, whereas Jerusalema Rain was the horse that was supported. But the truth to the form line on debut is that there wasn't much separating them. In fact, it was just a quarter length. 18-10, 5-1, that's a big gap.
Diesel, when you watch that race again, you'll notice that Hawkball was finishing better than Jerusalem Rain. In fact, I believe, had the race been an extra furlong, there's one winner. It's number 5, Hawkball. I respect the money for number 6, Jerusalem Rain, first time out. I certainly respect the fact that Aldo De May is in town. And I think something that punters need to bear in mind, this is the first meeting on the Vaal original track since the Grand Heritage. It's been 4 months that the original track hasn't been used. There was a few drainage issues that were ironed out. The track hopefully come into world-class fashion. So with regard, the point I'm getting to is with regard to the draws, be blind on how the track is going to be running. Generally, when the original track is open up, you look at the higher number, and that would benefit number 6, Jerusalem Rain. But I have an inkling that if it's ever going to be as even as can be, it'll probably be at this Thursday card. So 5 and 6, probably the 2 horses that are going to fight it out. I'll back my eye and go with number 5, Hawkbill, to finish in front of number 6, Jerusalem Rain. And there's a horse here that I think will run into the first 4 in double figures. It's a horse, Zoom Bomber. He's got quite a reputation. He ran in a feature race on debut. He wasn't disgraced behind American Graffiti. And we'll talk a bit more about the Lucky Lad form in race number 3. I think right now that is quite comfortably the best juvenile form on offer, certainly in the half out. So 11, Zoom Bomber, make sure he's in your trifectas, quartets, swingers, etc.
So between numbers 5 and 6, are going to include both in the bar pot, or you're going to take a chance with 5?
I'm actually going to go with 5 and 11 in my bar pot, D's. I'm not that I'm looking to snuff Jerusalem Rain out of the bar pot, because I think he could very easily get into the top 2. But I'm taking the punch here that Zoom Bomber is going to run a big race, and I think that he's going to knock a few tickets out.
Don't leave number 3 coming from that same form line behind numbers 5 and 6 out of trifectas and quartets. That's Emporium. Race number 3 will start off the place accumulator. It's a 1,200-meter race for a juvenile plate maiden. First timers again here, so same comment. Keep an eye on the betting. Nothing at this stage to report with these first timers if there's any betting support. Horses in single figures. Number 3 at 4-1, 5 at 6-1, and then number 9, Queen of Camelot, is the 18-10 favorite here, and 11-2, I see number 13, White Hills. This horse, 16-1 on debut, may have just come under the radar from the Hudalaka stable, the daughter of Gimme the Green Light, Queen of Camelot.
Sure. D's, I don't put her in the race. I'll be surprised if she wins. I'll wait for the egg on my face if she does win, because I think Lucky Hudalakis is a brilliant trainer. I'm a big fan of JP van der Merwe, and obviously, everyone wants Greg Bortz to do well. But I can't have number 9, Queen of Camelot. 18-10 is far too short for me, and I'll be leaving her out of everything. Like I said, bring on the egg. I'll take it on my face, and I wouldn't even try and block it if she were to win. I think this is going to be a hot race. We'll learn a lot more about the Guy Gibson form after race 2, because CALIBRE comes out of that form. Let's say that she was soft first time out. She was given a soft ride first time out, so there could be any amounts of improvement. With regards to number 4, Great Barrier, she is a very, very smart filly. I think we did the show for the 4th of March, and she ran exactly as expected. She was horribly green. Now, Candace's yard has been quiet over the last 2 weeks. I haven't seen her since Monday. She's been at the yard from 4 in the morning till 8 at night. She's trying to get things right, because there've been a few very, very high blood counts out of horses that have run. So if everything's on the straight and narrow, I think number 4, Great Barrier, will finish in front of number 5, Mickey's Bomb. Go and watch that rerun. I don't think there's any doubt that 4 should beat 5 if everything is on the straight and narrow. And then number 13, White Hills, who ran behind Elegant Ice last time. Elegant Ice ran an absolute ripper in the Pretty Polly Stakes on Saturday, so she gets an extra star next to her name. But all in all, I think the 3 horses to focus on, I think the winner comes from one of 3 horses, 3, 4, or 13, with number 3 being at the top of my list, with Aldo taking the ride for Ashley Fortune.
3, 4, and 13, looking for some value, and if this has to happen, well, you'll get some cash here. I think you'll get some proper cash. 3, 4, and 14, race number 3 for Alistair. On to the start of the big one, the pick 6, and when I had a look at this card, usually you can gauge by the size of the fields, the quality of racing, what type of pool you're going to get, and I suspect that this is going to be a sizable pool on the Thursday, and it is month end as well. 1,600 meters, 13:35, you need to get your bets on. Maiden plate, and can we build up that kitty for Saturday's major race meeting at Turffontein? This is how they're betting, Alistair. Number 1, Godfather, 3-1. Number 2, which is US Open, at 33-10. We got number 3, Williamson, at 11-2. 5, Harold the Duke, at 8-1. 6, Broadway, at 3-1. And then the only other horse in single figures is horse number 9, which is Knight's Table, at 8-1. I got a question for you here, or maybe it's just lend your thoughts on how I'm thinking. This horse, Broadway, is it 3-1 because of the jockey? Is it 3-1 because of a combination of the jockey and the form? Or is it 3-1 because there's no depth to the form lines in this field?
Option C, D's. It's 3-1 because there's no depth to the field. I must confess, I actually quite like the card. It's my type of card. Because I think there's a few value plays later on, and obviously in the first 3 races, I think I found a few horses at reasonable prices, although they're juvenile races. I think that we'll make a profit in this race, but this is one race I'm staying away from. The reason why I haven't to pick 6 as my suggested bet is because I absolutely hate it. Go in with as many as you possibly can. I have an idea that number 9, Nuts Table, will run well. Craig Zaki takes a ride for Lucky Hudalakis. I think he needed his last run, which came on the inside track. I think the extra distance, and I think going to a free striding course will suit him. Don't go broke on number 9, Nuts Table, but I think that he'll run into the first 4. But I think from here, there are enough opportunities through the card.
What we're saying, if you can try and get through with the minimum spend, you're already a winner in that pick 6, because race number 4 looks to be a race where you could spring any type of result. So try and get through, guys, with the minimum spend. There's 11 runners, so if you're going to use the rule, if you can go with 5 horses, which is less than half the field, I think that is a bonus there in race number 4. Race number 5 is over 1,600 meters. It's a maiden plate. It's for fillies and mares. And what's happening here with the betting? Number 1 is at 7-1. This is the shortest price favorite on the card. And number 2, Broadlands at 9-10. 4 is at 7-2. And that is it. That is it now. 9-10 about Broadlands, and if you've gone for her in the past, you'll know that she's been frustrating and she's been costly to follow. Is she bumping the right field to get it right? There doesn't seem to be much opposition, barring the horses that I've just called out in single figures, number 1 and 4. I don't know, Alistair. Can we go with some confidence this time round? What's it? 9-4, even money, 7-2. 11-10 and 5-4. She's been beaten.
Why did you have to go through those prices, Dees?
No, I have to, because she's 9-10 this time.
I'm plus bitten. I'm 3 times bitten, 4 times shy with number 2, Broadlands. Surely now, I think the key to her is dropping her to a mile, Dees. I can't possibly banker her in my jackpot. Jackpot 1 is my play of the day. So I don't think anyone will hold anybody to the idea of trying to get her beaten, or rather looking for alternative, just because of the profile and the frustrated nature, the frustrating nature that she carries. I think that this is undoubtedly last chance balloon for me, dropping back to a mile. She is the top choice in this race, but I've gone with 2 other horses in the jackpot. Number 1, Lady ZULTANITE, will be ridden by Samanga Kamala. The only time Samanga rode her, he got a tune out of this daughter of Canford Cliffs, so that's got to be noteworthy. Last time she was eased out of the race, the parachute came up, and nothing obvious was detected. But there have been a few cases over the years where a horse has been eased out of the race, comes out as if it's just almost a canter work, and they run a better race next time. So number 1, Lady ZULTANITE, is in my play, as is number 4, Impersonation. I liked her last time. She faced a fairly weak rare field last time. She didn't rip up any trees.
1, 2, and 4 here for Alistair, race number 5, and I think you'll do well to try and what I'm saying is that if you want to beat this odds-on favorite, you'll do well to try and find the winner amongst the balance of the field, because I think if she does get beat, Alistair's giving you his thoughts. Let's see what happens. But I think many will be taking a chance, just having a look at the balance of the races, especially for pick 6 players. Maybe take a chance and hope that she gets it right. Number 2, Broadlands. We're on to race number 6, and this is over 2,400 meters. It's a merit-rated 66 handicap, and we'll bring up the field there. And in this field, number 1, Flag Bearer, is at 4-1. Number 2 is at 17-10. We got horse number 7 at 5-1, 8 at 7-1, and it is double figures the balance. So in the 6th race, what's happening here? It's 2,400 meters the distance. I'll give you a form update for number 3, Prime Example. A race the other day, which was on the 25th of March. I ran 7 lengths back behind Future Wolf, back in that 5th position. We'll see if he takes his part. But it's a race of stayers, and we'll see in this low division, E division handicap, if number 2, Absolute Value, who's on 3 in the bounce, can make it 3 in a row, who's on trying to get a 3 on the bounce, can make it 3 in a row. The fact is, last time out when they stretched him over 2,400 meters, you had to like the way he won, beating Great Affair. and there could be more to come from him. It's just amazing that, trainers keep horses over shorter, and like Fabian has been doing with this horse, over a mile, and then now they put him over ground. You can see it just lends another dimension to his career moving forward. Number 2, Absolute Value. And I think this 2,400 meter trip, he's no doubt the right horse in the race, and I'm not surprised that he's priced up at 17-10. Number 2, Absolute Value. So he looks like the right horse in the race, and possibly a banker here as well. When I looked at the opposition, well, it's all about tactics. Some of these horses are going to enjoy a good pace. Some of them are definite stayers. Others are trying the distance for the first time. So it looks to be a tricky race. But I think number 2, Absolute Value, is no doubt the horse that sets the standard here over this 2,400 meter trip. Then we move along to race number 7. It's a middle stakes over 1,000 meters. And this is how they're betting here in race number 7, where number 1, Sheldon, is 17-10. We then have number 3, Lucy English, which is at 7-1. Number 4 is at 7-1. And number 5, Super Agra, is an 8-1 shot. 6, Big Eyed Girl, is at 7-1. And I see they got 5-2 about Siberian Steel. Alistair, race number 7, this horse, Absolute Value. And I just want to go back to race number 6. I'm on race number 7, but race number 6, Absolute Value. I was just mentioning to the guys that when you find a stable that just tries something different with regards to distance, it just lends that new dimension to their career moving forward. And I certainly think this could be the case with horse number 2, because he seemed to love the step up in distance.
Yeah, he's grown an extra leg since going up and tip. And I still think of his racing currently 66, that he's still probably kindly handicapped. So I think this is a golden opportunity for him to complete the hat-trick. He's a banker in my jackpot, which is my suggested play. He's a banker in the pick 6 as well. And I think he'll take all the beating. The biggest danger for me, and I'm not convinced that she'll stay, is number 8, Barmaid. I had a little place tickle on her at Turfington just over a week ago. She didn't really look all that dangerous. She didn't run on and strike that she'd be running over a mile and a half just 9 days later. But she's on my radar, and I don't want to be letting her run loose for trifectas and quartets. But I can't see her beating number 2, Absolute Value.
Glad we're on the same page there, race number 6. Race number 7, I read out the betting where it was the Funferian horses that dominate the betting. Number 1, Sheldon, at 17-10. And number 8, Siberian Steel, at 5-2. But there are other horses in single figures. Numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6 are 7-1, 7-1, 8-1, and 7-1, respectively. How are you playing this race? We've got the banker, hopefully that gets into the frame in the 6th race. Do we have some money to possibly go wide here, or can we narrow this down?
I've narrowed it down to 3 horses here, Dees, with my top choice. Pretty comfortable with number 3, Lucy English, going back to 1,000 meters. All 3 of her wins have come over 1,000. She's finished in front of Sheldon before. When you look for the common run for me came at the Vaal on the 2nd of February, when Lucy English finished in front of Sheldon. They meet on identical weight terms. And there's 2 lanes for Lucy English to play with. I think the value lies with number 3, Lucy English here. Her last run over 11.60. To say that she doesn't stay, I think she does stay, but maybe not quite at feature race level. So I think number 3, Lucy English, with home ground advantage, is the horse they all need to beat. Sheldon, I do have a lot of respect for. He was a comfortable winner over Mini Coupe on, what was that? That was Classic Day. Mini Coupe ran a very, very unlucky 3rd. Subsequently, so the form is okay. And then number 4, Here Comes the Rain. I was mildly encouraged with his last run, which obviously came at Turfentine over 1,000 meters behind Anfield's Rocket. That was 2 months ago. Since then, Anfield's Rocket has become a Group 1 winner, albeit at a completely different sphere over 1,800 meters. But I don't think Here Comes the Rain is too far away from winning, so I just want to keep safe with him. So 1, 3, and 4, but very, very keen on Lucy English.
1, 3, and 4 for Alistair. It's just amazing. When I went through this field, and I've known this in the past, that these 2 horses, numbers 3 and 6, every time they race, there seems to be something reported about a respiratory noise, but they still run so well, numbers 3 and 6. So I wouldn't be put off by that. It could just be a noise and nothing that really affects them in the running, but it has to be reported, as it always is in whatever form guide you're using. But I think good value here. 7-1, Alistair's picked out here Boom. If that arrives, you'll definitely drop tickets here in race number 7. On to the 8th race over 1,400 meters. It's a merit-rated 84 handicap. It's a C division class. This is how they're betting, Alistair. Number 1, Unconditional Love at 9-2. 4, Johnny Dogs at 7-1. 5, the Mauritian at 4-1. Then we go to Sion the Conqueror, number 11 at 11-2. And I've taken down the betting for horse number 13 because I want to include this in everything. 10-1, Admiralty R for Byron Boertes and Yolanda Vosloo. I don't know what's your thoughts here, but if we are going short in the 2 previous races, I say the 2 previous races, we can even go short if we want to include Broadlands to that because we're not going to include many runners there. I think we now have a budget to go wide.
Indeed, we do. I must be honest, Dees, when I looked at this race, I got a headache looking for reasons to go short. So I just took the easy route out and went field in my suggested bet. But I like a horse here too much to run into the first 3. I'm going big on places. What price is number 2, Captain Hindsight, Dees?
Well, I didn't take it down. I didn't think it was needed, but I can find that out for you. Tell us why.
Dees, he's needed. He's needed in a big way. I'm going broke on places here. His rating has dropped from a once 100 down to an 85. He gets from a minor layoff, but the Vaal Straight is such a specialized course, and if you can do it, you can win races, and if you can't do it, then there's just alternatives at other race courses.
12-1, Alistair. That's the price of number 2, Captain Hindsight. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a quartet roving here. Write this down, guys. 2 at 12-1, 13 at 10-1. This quartet arrives with these 2 roving bankers finishing in the top 4 and hoping for, I think regardless, whatever runs beside them in that top 4, if you get 2 and 13 finishing in that top 4, you are going to get a very healthy quartet dividend in the 8th race. So 2, a nice find by Alistair. I'm going to go with 13 at 10-1, but it looks like a race where it could spring a big result there, the penultimate leg of this pick 6, which we hope is going well coming into race number 9, which is over 1,400 meters, and this is a classified stakes. Number 1 at 2-1, then number 7 at 7-1, number 12 at 4-1, and the only other horse in single figures is none, because those are the only 3 horses trading at single figures, and you got a horse that's been off since the let's put it this way, since the penultimate month of last season's end in June, the 7th of June to be exact. This horse hasn't seen the racetrack. It's now 1,400 meters, and the horse is priced up at 2-1. I know that the Soma Yard is in good form, but this has to be a concern. I mean, 2-1, I don't know how the guys are pricing up this horse at 2-1 after such a long break.
Dees, I'm going to ask you something that if the roles were reversed, it would actually annoy me, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because if I was hosting and you were the tipster and you asked me this, I'd obviously answer it, but it would be annoying. But I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yes.
Do you know anything about number 1, CALIBRE CREST?
Now, all I know is that the horse would have needed time, and there have been issues with him. And we know that Joe Soma is one of those trainers that if allowed to bring a horse back in his time, that you are guaranteed that if he assures you the horse is worthwhile persevering with, that he will take his time, get things right, and bring the horse back when ready. And this horse would have needed time, number 1, CALIBRE CREST, and he's now ready to race. I haven't spoken to him about the progress of the horse leading into this race. He usually will chat to the guys on the morning of the race, or maybe even the evening of the race. So he hasn't sent out his message yet with number 1, CALIBRE CREST. But the lengthy layoff could be, rewarded. But I still feel, this break is a long, long break over 1,400 meters at the Vaal. And I'm of the opinion that if Joe doesn't give us any confidence, and, if he did send out that message. I would have definitely passed that on, but it hasn't come through yet. So, I don't know what he's expecting on the day. But the fact is the horse is recovered. And let's see how he goes for Dylan and the boys who have been very, very patient with him. So, can he reward them? Maybe he could. But in a bet like a pick six and a jackpot and those type of bets, I'm always skeptical with horses coming off a break, regardless of where they're racing at any center around the country, unless it's something that you hear from a trainer or there's betting moves that will point you in the right direction.
Well, you and I read racing exactly the same then, because if you'd asked me that question and I was in the know without knowing, that's exactly how I read it as well. However, I've heard about CALIBRE CREST for a week. Not from Joe Samer, though, just from when I went to Turffontein last Thursday. The talk was just CALIBRE CREST is running in a week. Don't forget about CALIBRE CREST. And the first person said to me, I said, who's CALIBRE CREST? I can't remember the horse. Look, the easy way to put it is if CALIBRE CREST is 85% right, he will absolutely smash this field. So I think that's probably the easiest way to structure it. Nothing else jumps off the page. Even though he gives weight away, there are a few horses here who are under sufferance. You can make a case for a horse like number 3, Eagle Strike, with his rating dropping. Number 6, Vikas, is always dangerous down the Vaal straight, although better over a mile. Just all points to number 1, CALIBRE CREST. If he was rested 196 days, I think he'd be a banker in all bets. But 296 days, a little bit of a worry, but the South of Joburg's all talking.
Okay, let's see what happens with number 9, CALIBRE CREST here. Number 1, CALIBRE CREST in race number 9. And we'll see if there's any betting action around this horse. The Somaya, they're not shy. If they like a horse, you'll see the betting support, and it's usually on the button here. Number 1, CALIBRE CREST in race number 9. Possibly the right horse, if close to 80%, as Alistair mentioned. But I think you're going to have to run for cover if you're not in the camp of a horse coming off a long break like he's been off for. Race number 10, closing things off. It's over 1,400 meters. And what is this? This is a D division class. Let's go through the betting with horses in single figures. Number 1, run for cover. That's at 4 to 1. Number 3 is at 8 to 1. 4 at 7 to 1. 5 at 9 to 2. 7 is a 6 to 1 shot. Very, very interesting runner, number 7. Same type of mold as we were speaking about CALIBRE CREST in the previous race. And then 8 is a 6 to 1 shot. And anything else? Nothing else in single figures. I say a very interesting horse. Well, it's obvious why when compared to CALIBRE CREST in the previous race. But what I want to tell you is that when this horse was at Peter Muscat, from day one, he wasn't just rated, he was very highly rated, Alistair.
That's very interesting, Deez. I remember the mother, Carragay, that was trained by Ormond Ferrara. She had lovely blood. And all of the foals are actually useful horses. And I think I'm of the opinion that Maritz Finteen are waiting for the champion to come from the mare. So the ship may have sailed for a 5-year-old gelding by Soft Falling Rain, who obviously has his issues. Be very interesting to see how he goes. I think the winner comes from one of 4 horses in the race. They're all in the betting. I think I've done my bit for value horses in the race. I think we'll probably, on the meeting rather, I think we'll get a favourable result here. I think between 1 run for cover, 3 Indus Night, 4 Angel of War and 5 Blue Waters, I think the winner comes from one of them. Top choice would be number 4 Angel of War, but with a degree of trepidation. Philisande Nkoli takes her out for Paul Matcher. They've been going along very nicely. The penultimate run really appeals to me. The last run, on the other hand, doesn't. I don't think it's... I think this is one of the races the horse who's feeling best in the day wins. Indus Night didn't stay last time over 1,800 metres. Going back down the straight is a little bit of a risk, but if he handles the Vaal straight. He will be very competitive under Keegan DeMello. Run for cover. His last run was good to Robert Burns when there was a ton of money for him. You got to respect that. So he's got to be banging the race. Although the run's a good Queen Bess, he's got plenty work to do on a line through Angel of War. And the only excuse they got was brushed at the start. So 13 lengths is still it was a big deficit to overhaul. I do have queries about number 5, Blue Waters, over 1,400 meters. She runs that she'll get the trip, but she's yet to go this trip. So I put a question mark next to her. If she goes 1,400 meters without any fuss, then she's probably the one to beat. But I just think there's less disclaimers about number 4, Angel of War. I'm waiting for number 8, Sage King, to go a mile. I think he can run into the top 4, but over a mile, I'll put my head down with him.
Okay, and that's it. It's a nice way of closing things off, Alistair. Thanks for your time. And you've given a jackpot that you want to just go through with one banker. You want to go through those numbers?
Yep, so jackpot 1, my suggested bet starts at 2:10. 1, 2, and 4 in the first exit. Lady ZULTANITE, Broadlands, an impersonation. By banker 2, absolute value. By 1, 3, and 4, Sheldon, Lucy English, and Here Comes the Rain. So far, we're in for 9 round. I don't think the jackpot's going to be paying much. But in the last leg of the jackpot, I've gone field, but I'm shouting home number 2, Captain Hindsight. Whatever happens in a field of that much depth with horses spread right across the track, I think we'll get an equal split of tickets. I think Captain Hindsight will probably be middle of the range in terms of tickets that are being held. So I'm hoping to at least double the dividend into the final leg and making money on Captain Hindsight.
All the best, Alistair, and always a pleasure.
Shot D's. Always a pleasure as well, and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks to Alistair Cohen on behalf of the entire team at Gallop TV. Myself, Dees Dianan, have a blast, make a huge profit, find all the winners, and hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful day on this Thursday, the 30th of March. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashle.